Ah, summer tracks. Those words on their own sound clear and refreshing. But it's so dirty. It's covered in rust and mud. No part of this place is refreshing. To be honest, I find it unsightly. I don't really know much about this, but are rails typically like this?
Considering what they're made out of, yes. Sometimes, dirt and corruption are to be expected, but it seems that these have been neglected for too long.
I don't like false hope. I don't like giving it to others just as much as I don't like giving it to myself. It could be that Navi's map information was old. Is this rail line already closed?
No, Maitetsu-sama. Though it is weathered and worn, the rail is still alive.
Instant declaration. Her words feel convincing because she's speaking fact. Oh, how do you know?
It's the wheel threads.
Threads?
The wheel threads of the train. Shouldn't you already know what that is?
Oh, I see. I blankly look at the tracks. Hachiroku gives me a hint and I understand. The tracks where the train's wheels run on don't rust. The top of the tracks does not have rust or dirt on it. It has a dull silver color as if it were sanded down. If it were a closed railway, trains wouldn't be running on these tracks.
Correct, and the tracks would be covered in dirt and rusted over. They would be completely corroded by now.
Hachiroku walks briskly on the gravel laid by the tracks. She walks lightly in small strides, barely making any noise. Her strides are so small that it's difficult to match them.
It's alive, but unfortunately, it is just as you said before when we were still in the sky.
Me?
It's a distressing thing to say, but it is true that this ballast is way past its prime.
Hachiroku crouches down, picking up the pebbles, not the sand, from below the tracks. That's the ballast?
It is what used to be the ballast. Maitetsu-sama, in its current state, it cannot function as a ballast.
I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. Hachiroku explains it concisely. The ballast is the gravel supporting the tracks and cross ties. Okay, that I didn't know. By crushing itself, it absorbs the shock caused by the trains dealt to the tracks. Seeing how it's crushed to the point of becoming sand, it doesn't serve its function as a ballast then.
Yes. That's why it's usually customary to replace the ballast at an earlier stage.
Either they didn't have the budget to, or there were no staff to do it, or possibly both. Regardless, it doesn't change the fact that it's not in an ideal state.
That's what it seems. The rail is also a light 30-kilogram type. In this state, the vibrations would make things too unstable. Vibrations will cause negative effects on the cart and freight. If there are passengers, they will most likely complain.
The passengers? We are in what people call the aircraft age. In this day and age, every single person can afford one. Passengers that continue riding trains must have their own reasons for doing so.
If I were a maintenance body, I could at least help with the relaying of the blast.
Maintenance body?
Maintaining the train cars is also the job of railroads, but with this body, I can't do any heavy lifting.
Wait, does that mean she can, like AI can, body jump between different railroad body shells or something? Or is that just, or are there just multiple types of railroads? Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Hachiroku flexes her thin arm to reinforce his point. I don't see any muscles anywhere.
But we railroads have two main types of bodies, one for operation management and one for maintenance.
That's clever.
Clever? It's more like just using the correct tools for the correct job. It's like wearing the right outfit for the situation.
Is that... wait... Off the horizon, I see something hazy come up, wavering in the distance from the heat. Hachiroku, come over here.
What is it, Sotetsu? Ah!
When she's close enough, I wrap an arm around her side and pick her up. I lift her higher than my face. Can you see that?
It's a station.
She answers immediately, her feet start kicking in midair. Then let's go there. Don't fall.
Huh? Oh, Sotetsu-sama.
I hold Hachiroku close to my chest, and with long strides run over to the station.
Oh.
Only about 100 feet left. As we get close to the station, Hachiroku's grip on my collar lightens.
Sotetsu-sama, this is a closed station.
I step inside and see that Hachiroku was right. Grass and foliage have long since overrun the area, spreading and covering even the station's platform. The dull red of rust appears or tears at the tracks. So these tracks aren't still being used.
The side tracks aren't the only ones that aren't used.
Hachiroku pulls at my clothes. She guides me towards her direction of choice. On top of the platform are corroded, rectangular wooden boards. This must have been the signboard saying which station it was.
Yes, it is the remnants of the station's name. Seeing how weathered it is, it cannot function as designed.
The white paint is chipped off, the red undercoating and parts of the wood are exposed as well.
Just like trains and railroads, even stations can die like this.
So the station's sign also doubles as its tombstone now. Most of its writing is faded, only one letter is still legible. Fuku. Good fortune. Ironic, really, when you think about it.
What do you say? Perhaps the station's name used to be Mefuku. Rest in peace.
No way.
It's highly possible, though.
She gives off a slight smile. Hachiroku looks up lethargically.
A station's name is usually derived from a local landmark or something in close proximity like that. There are even stations called Kega, injury, or Fukuda, misfortune.
I didn't know that. The world really is full of surprises, isn't it?
Yes.
Hachiroku's finger points at the rusted station placard.
We thought we had worked hard to make this vast world slightly smaller, more accessible, but
It's hard to tell if Hachiroku just can't bring herself to say the next words or if she's intentionally holding back. Whichever it may be, it doesn't change what I have to say next. Things crumble away and people die. It's already been decided and can never be avoided. Hachiroku called this a sidetrack earlier. It's the line that separates and goes around the platform. I can tell those tracks have been completely rusted in the face of death. But you and I have survived. There's some parts of these tracks that have survived too. I point at the lines moving alongside the platform. Those tracks are silver. Isn't that right?
You are right. Just as you said, Sotetsu-sama. The sidetrack is dead, but the main line is still alive.
Hachiroku's fingers brush the sign and move away from it. Her eyes look past where I pointed, and she looks up ahead.
Then there must be stations that are still working. Places with operational trains and railway workers.
Yeah.
I want to meet those people, and if there is anything I can help with.
Hachiroku, give me the clock and wonder.
Thank you very much, Sotetsu-sama.
Hachiroku's fuel efficiency seems to be quite bad. Continuing to depend on the winder isn't efficient. Let's get back to the basics. We took a detour, but we still have to fill our stomachs first.
Yes, please, Sotetsu-sama.
Leave it to me, Navi.
Oh,
I call to it, and the plane flies above us. It circles slowly around, and after shaking the tail 2 or 3 times, it flies in one direction. Let's go. Navi is waiting for us in the water up ahead.
Navi was following you from above?
Navi's a bit of a nosy one. It has a hobby of stalking me, so that I don't run into any kind of danger.
Its hobby is to keep watch on you?
I said it jokingly, but I wasn't joking at all. To save my life is the top priority. When Navi was still a prototype, that was the order given to us. A lot of information that flight aircraft must possess is exponentially higher than that of land vehicles.
That's only natural. I can't even begin to imagine how much information that is.
That's why flight aircraft navigation systems are difficult to adjust once everything is set up. If you try to mess with it, it essentially breaks. Oh boy, do I know the feeling. Which is why it was one of the very few prototypes in Japan. Flight aircraft are still rare and valuable. I exchanged my compensation for it, making it my personal belonging. I would say this was inevitable.
Is that so?
If you can't fix something, you just have to get used to it. Being watched can actually be convenient in its own way.
I agree,
She stops right there. A long silence ensues. And in my arms, Hachiroku closes her lips tightly and stays silent. A gusty sound rips past. I can't hear anything but the wind. Moments go by, but Hachiroku's muteness lingers. Not a single word rushes free. I guess it could be that she's hungry, right? I become worried and decide to just watch her for a minute. In that time, I realized how imprudent it was for me to call her a doll before. She blinks, sweats, and even appears to breathe. Hachiroku seems to embody all human mannerisms. Doesn't seem like she can't move. Maybe I should just leave her alone. When a person points out something that you wanted left alone, you tend to shy away from that person, or at least shut down a bit. That's true, be it with people or with things. Not stepping into where you are not welcome is just as important as the reverse.
Sotetsu-sama, may I ask you something?
Go ahead. Perhaps having gotten bored with the silence, Hachiroku finally opens her mouth. The tone in her voice is strong.
It seems that I had underestimated the convenience of modern aircraft.
I see. My Navi is an exception among exceptions, but The more commonly sold land vehicles can do autopiloting and select the most optimal routes. The convenience of aircraft is not to be underestimated.
I feel like the railways being pushed to extinction could be an inevitability that transcends human choice in a way.
Oh. Acknowledging the inferiority of railways would be an insult to our sisters. That's what Hachiroku said earlier, but now she's stating reality without mixing in any kind of self-ridicule.
Despite being almost defunct, the railways are still alive. I think that also is a form of inevitability.
Yeah? I nod not only to Hachiroku's words, but to her attitude. Hachiroku is not looking to the past, but rather the future. She has greatly changed in that regard, and in such a short period of time at that.
As an aircraft owner, Maitetsu-sama, I'd like to ask you something.
What is it?
What is it that the aircraft cannot do? Meaning, what is it they have difficulty doing?
Very well. Navi is also quiet. At first it respected Hachiroku's silence. Now it feels as if it's respecting her will. The heart of the aerocraft tech engine has a gem-like compound called Kilkutium. Well, that's what I studied right away when I heard information about the factory. I tell Hachiroku of the fruits of my labors. Adding the effects of managed terrestrial magnetism and solar energy, rotary motion begins.
Does that rotary motion, for example, become a source of energy, like with moving pistons?
If you leave out all the details, yes, that's why air can be operated with very little cost.
I see. So solar energy and magnetism alone are a power source that's almost infinite.
I nod. Hachiroku has it right. If there weren't consumable parts, the aerocraft tech engine could be considered a perpetual motion machine. But the Kikutium has a weak point. It's a phenomenon called resonance collapse.
Resonance collapse? It resonates and then collapses?
Yes, when you put two Kilkutiums together, their rotary movements become uncontrollable, leading to collapse.
Then that would mean using Kilkutium in close quarters would be impossible.
Yeah, and the production cost of Kilkutium rises exponentially the larger it gets. Double the size and you have to square the cost.
Exponentially. So theoretically, if the compound with a cubic volume of 100 centimeters has a production cost of 100 yen, the cost of 200 cubic centimeters would be 10,000 yen. 300 cubic centimeters would be 1 million yen. It's also impossible for it to reach a particular size. Hachiroku nods deeply. Then, for large vehicles weighing tens of tons, like a train...
That's right, the aircraft tech engine can't be used. They are also not good at transporting large objects that can't be separated. For example, hanging it from a bunch of aircraft vehicles. It's not impossible, but it can't pick up any significant speed. When transporting large animals, like orcas, I hear they still use vehicles with gas engines.
Then...
She looks straight at me, her gaze is powerful.
If I can prove to society that there are things that the railway does better than aircraft...
Yes, it's more than enough for both to coexist. It's a fact that regions prior to aircraft.
Sotetsu-sama, warning, we are approaching a no-fly zone.
Avi interrupts our conversation, and for a brief moment I don't understand. What is this no-fly zone?
It is the airspace in which the aircraft tech company has designated that flight is to be avoided.
I suppose that's what it means. What's the reason for it?
It is not revealed.
Why? No, wait. If it is a setting by the aircraft tech company, normally Navi would automatically process things as top priority. There's no need for an explanation. There isn't even a question that can't be answered. In your case, my order will take priority over the settings of the aircraft tech company, right?
Naturally, and there is the other principle of defending Sotetsu-sama's life that takes priority over them too. We are now making an emergency landing. What? An emergency landing?
I see. This was my mistake. What I should have done was not ask why, and instead give the order to avoid the area. Without that, I would just follow my original command of as long as there is no danger to my life.
No, but will it be okay? We're lowering in altitude.
It's okay, Hachiroku. The emergency landing is done to preserve my life.
Just as Sotetsu-sama has said, this vehicle still has enough propulsion in power reserve to do an emergency landing safely.
Reserve? This is the first time we've heard that from Navi. Power reserve, that's a term I never thought would have anything to do with air engines.
This vehicle is being caught in an abnormal magnetic field. The engine will most likely stop if it continues.
Magnetic field abnormalities? I now remember. When I was going to the Jutsusen coal mine ruins with an aircraft, I was following Hibiki's voice. I get it. In regions where the magnetic fields aren't stable, the aircraft engine doesn't work. That's why Hibiki stopped me from going with an aircraft. This railway must still be operational. Everything happens for a reason.
Sotetsu-sama, why are you so calm, huh?
The plane flies in a gentle curve as it descends. Soon a silver light can be seen on the ground.
Emergency landing here?
On the tracks. The forest rustles. It's as if the trees parted and made a runway for us. Because there's no water nearby, this must have been the safest choice.
No, stop. That'll grind the tracks. You'll break the cross ties and crush the ballast. Commencing emergency landing. Please take a brace position to prepare for impact.
You heard it, Hachiroku. Roku.
Sotetsu-sama?
I told Hachiroku close to me to cover her. Or hold her. Navi, is it possible? Can you maintain our safety as well as preserve the state of the rail?
I didn't need your order, Sotetsu-sama.
We float up briefly, the airplane lifts, and I feel a momentary weightlessness. And then we land. The float managed to slide us onto the tracks before coming to a stop.
The weight of the vehicle made it difficult to follow the order of preserving the rail.
Yeah, you heard it. What do you think, Hachiroku?
Oh, yes. Excuse me, Sotetsu-sama.
She pulls herself away from my grasp and climbs down over the side to the tracks. She lets out a sigh of relief and possibly of admiration.
This is quite wonderful. From here to there isn't much of a difference that I can discern in the status of the tracks.
No, why don't you look happy?
Well,
Hachiroku glances around as if looking for something.
I realize that the maintenance is worse here. That tree over there is about to fall onto the tracks.
Hachiroku points ahead. There's quite a large tree in the way of the tracks. But we should check our own conditions. If we can't even take care of ourselves, there's no point in caring about the tracks. We have to move out of here first. At this rate, we'll get in the way of the train.
Pick it up by yourself?
I told you already, Akra are weak against heavy things, which is why the vehicles they're meant for are made as light as possible.
The engine will shut off in 15 seconds, transferring to safe mode to conserve energy.
Navi goes silent, but this doesn't change the weight of it. I move the vehicle off the tracks, and now just think about where to go. We should go back for the time being. We have to move to an area where the flight is possible. Restart Navi and then make a detour.
No, Satetsu-sama, there is no need for that.
Oh. Hachiroku points at vast shrubbery with low trees. It is far from the tracks. I suppose we can set down the plane over there. Alright. Why won't we have to go back?
Because the rail lord of the train on this line is very adherent to rules and regulations, Satetsu-sama.
The Rail Lord sympathetic connection? She nods proudly.
She is very proper. She does the verbal checks each and every time.
Ooh, what does that mean?
She confirms the departure signals and calls out, all aboard. She also confirms the speed limit, calling out something like limit 50.
So that's what verbal checks are. I can see it all clearly in my head, thanks to Hachiroku's explanation.
She does every check without fail. Although she does the checks rather slowly, she still follows proper procedures.
I see. Then if we wait here, the train will eventually come. While I feel a little relieved, a question comes up. But why does that make her proper? Isn't doing the verbal checks already a regular procedure?
When I was still active, it was not followed at the former Imperial Railway.
The Hachiroku explains quietly. The purpose of verbal checks was to predict dangers and to prevent accidents. But with the reduction of trains, those rules are gradually ignored, then ultimately phased out.
This is a single track, but the side track is dead.
Yeah, we've been talking about this sidetrack for a while.
Oh, Sotetsu-sama, you didn't know what a sidetrack was?
Hachiroku continues on. A single track is a line used for trains going in both directions. A sidetrack, however, is another set of tracks placed at a station for single-track trains to cross. Then the reason why the sidetrack is completely dead is because there have not been any trains crossing lines.
Correct. But in this current state, I feel as if the importance of verbal checks has become lessened.
I thought so. Disappointment leads to laziness. Laziness leads to lack of preparation, which in turn leads to accidents. This is a negative spiral in which the decline of something accelerates upon itself.
Rules and regulations should be followed, especially in those situations. The rail lord of this line knows that, so I say she is proper.
I now see what you're saying. I'd like to see this rail lord and the engineer. After I say that, Hachiroku gives a bright smile.
They'll be here soon, Sotetsu-sama. She also accepted the sympathetic connection.
Oh, what did she say?
They'll make an emergency stop to pick us up. She was surprised at how there was another rail lord here.
I'm thankful that they're willing to help us. Oh wait, are my clothes unkempt, Hachiroku?
Not even a little, Sotetsu-sama. You are very gentlemanly.
Hachiroku goes on to play with her bangs. She glances my way as if she wants something. You look dignified, Hachiroku, not discourteous in the slightest.
Yes, so you've noticed too.
Hachiroku sounds happy and proud at the same time. I start to feel the train's vibrations. Rattle rattle. This is... yes, I remember this. It's the sound of a train.
Sotetsu-sama, are you cold?
No, I'm just a little excited.
It's an honor to hear that.
Don't I hear the sounds of the train? It reminds me of that moment. A blinding kind of homesickness and a grasping sense of fear. I'm so pitiful. Even though I know it in my head, my body can't understand that the accident is in the past. I'm now the owner of a rail lord and have a responsibility. Having this fear of the railways will make it impossible for me to do my job. I simply need to force my feeble mind to get used to it. There's no other way but to ride the trains until I become desensitized.
It's coming. Oh, this is a diesel rail car. An adorable diesel rail car at that.
Oh, nice. It's round. That's my first impression of it. It's round and indeed adorable. The car has a front that's painted beige and deep red, making the round form look more like a toy than anything really.
Emergency stop done. Confirming rescue targets. Check front, check back, check footing. Paulette, you can get off now. Thank you, Rena. Can you come with me? Sure, Paulette. Rena will come with.
Oh, cute. Little rails are so cute with their tininess. Anyways, the side door opens up. A golden light shines from within.
She's beautiful. Did she come from a foreign land?
Golden strands of hair, like falling rain, pale white skin, and deep dark blue eyes. Could it be?
Wow, that's amazing.
Oh! Our voice cuts through the sudden tension, but our consciousness attracts each other. Her golden hair and blue eyes. This might just be a coincidence, but I can't help but see her a little bit in this Paulette. She reminds me of the girl from that summer long ago. The girl who saved me. The girl who taught me something important. She was kind-hearted.
Rena, this is the first time Rena has seen a rail lord older than her.
This railord that calls herself Rena has a very relaxed way of talking. To answer her, Hachiroku bends her upper body gracefully.
Pleased to meet you, Rena. I am the rail lord, Hachiroku. Nice to meet you, Hachiroku-san.
She leans slowly into a bow. Despite her clumsiness, I sense Rena is hardworking.
Rena is the 07S Raillord. My hometown is the Katakami Mining Rail. Mining Rail, so you transport freight. Yes, I'm stronger than I look. Oh my.
Hachiroku and Rena draw closer to one another with each word they exchange. In contrast, the rest of us are... I shouldn't be acting like an idiot here. First, we have to fill Hachiroku's stomach. I gotta do my best to make that happen. Thank you very much for stopping. At the same time, I'd like to apologize for practically forcing you to do so.
Oh,
As if she just came to her senses, Hachiroko closes her mouth and runs to my side. She bows deeply to both Rena and the engineer.
I apologize for not introducing myself. This is my owner, Megita Sotetsu-sama.
I don't know the proper etiquette, but I might as well go with the flow. I'm sorry for the late introduction. Pleased to meet you. I am Hachiroko's owner. My name is Megita Sotetsu.
Megita Sotetsu. Sotetsu-san? Hello, Sotetsu-san. Reina will make an introduction to...
If Hachiroko's footsteps sound like trotting, Reina's footsteps sound like flapping. Not only does she speak slowly, her movements are relaxed too.
This is Reina's master, Paulette. Paulette Hinai, to be exact.
Hinai? Having heard that name before, I quickly make the connection. Now we said it while I'm there earlier. Paulette Hinai. Current mayor of Ohitsuyo? She twitches. Paulette Hinai slouches down.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was surprised. I didn't think you would know who I am.
I apologize. It seemed as if I was putting you on the spot.
It's nothing to be so surprised at. It was entirely my fault.
That's for sure. Of course, I'd never say that out loud. Nor can I give off that vibe. A public figure like the mayor didn't think someone would recognize her. Under normal circumstances, that what she said is completely odd. I'm at a loss for words. Because I already apologized for putting her on the spot, I can't really ask her what she's doing here. She stays silent while blushing from ear to ear. It's as if she's trying to probe me for something with her quick glances to and away from me. This almost feels like a blind date. This isn't like me. 10 more seconds. If it's still awkward like this by then, I'll take the risk of being rude and just act.
Excuse me, but Reina's been wondering.
Not sure if her joining in the conversation is a good thing or not. She tilts her head to the side quizzically. Hachiroko returns a warm gaze as if she is relieved.
What is it, Reno-san? Sotetsu-san, you're Hachiroko's owner. Why aren't you her master? Because...
Now it's Hachiroko's turn. She glances to and away from me, looking for help.
Sotetsu-sama will eventually become my master, but right now we have some special circumstances. Circumstances? What circumstances? Reina.
Held up by Plot, Rena gives off a happy cry. An innocent puppy and kind master. Plot scolds Rena in the same way.
You know the times we're in. I'm sure all Maitetsu have their own circumstances.
Maitetsu? What's a Maitetsu? So the name of the game does have an in-universe explanation. It's not just a cool name thing. Huh. Our gazes lock. It's a word that even Hachiroko doesn't know. I can tell from her trying to ask me.
We shouldn't intrude on people's privacy like that. Just wait until they're willing to talk about it, okay?
She nods slowly. Reina takes her time to nod in return.
Okay. Reina's learned that Reina shouldn't ask about people's circumstances. That's a good girl, Reina. Hehe, Reina got complimented.
She embraces, corrects, and then pats. That's a good way to teach. Some questions are better left unanswered. Sorry, Mayor Paulette.
Being called mayor outside of City Hall is embarrassing. If you'd like, please just call me Paulette.
She doesn't like formalities, it seems. Then I'll be blunt. In that case, Blunt, I'm sorry, but can you tell me one thing? There is actually one more thing I'd like to ask. but let me throw out her question that needs to be solved right away.
Oh yes, Maitetsu-sama-san. If it's anything I can answer, I'll gladly do so.
Upon hearing Plot's answer, Hachiroku looks to me with high hopes. And let me ask, what is this Maitetsu you speak of? Ooh, cliffhanger. I think all these screens, intermittent screens, are slightly different.